Welcome back. This time we're talking about Loving Vincent, one of the most unique films I've seen in years. When you see as many movies as I do, it's really rare to see something that's honestly new. I would say James Cameron's Avatar, just the special effects, went so far beyond what we'd ever seen before. I could say that was something new. Boyhood by Richard Linklater, where he spent 17 years filming this story, telling a coming-of-age story in real time. That was something I had never seen before. Loving Vincent, I will say, is something I've never seen before. It's essentially a traditional animated film where they create each frame individually, only instead of there being drawings, these are oil paintings. And they're all done in the style of Vincent van Gogh, and that is the focus of this film, Loving Vincent. It is a fictionalized tale of his death and the events surrounding it. The story focuses on a young man who is the son of the postman, who was painted by Vincent van Gogh. And he is given a letter by his father that was written by Vincent to his brother Theo. But due to a number of circumstances, that letter was never delivered, and now it's only been discovered nearly a year after Vincent's death. And the postman asks his son to go deliver this letter. And his pursuit to deliver this letter ultimately sends him to where Vincent spent his last months. He was a deeply troubled individual, spent some time in a mental hospital, was being treated by a doctor, and ultimately took his own life. But as he spends time around the people who spent time with Vincent during his last months, he begins to suspect that something else might have happened to Vincent. And he kind of just goes down this rabbit hole of trying to figure out what happened to Vincent van Gogh. Now, obviously, the big draw of this movie is just the unique animation style. According to the filmmakers, more than 100 artists ultimately painted 853 different paintings that were then changed one frame at a time to animate them, producing something like 35,000 frames that make up this film. The art is wonderful. If you like the art of Vincent van Gogh, the post-impressionist style, there's a lot to like while watching this film. It is very unique, as I've said before, and it's just kind of very cool to just watch, as you can even see where the background is being painted over as characters move. It wasn't like they were painted in separate layers and put together. No, they had to repaint the background every time a character moved. Now, as far as the story goes, I would say it's not nearly as interesting as the style itself, but it is one that I found myself quite engaged with. There definitely is a lot of talking. There's not a lot of action, as one would suspect when having to animate this via painting. But I found myself drawn into the story. I don't think everyone will. A lot of that is going to have to do with how much you're interested in art history, as well as the life and works of Vincent van Gogh. There's a lot of nods and direct allusions to people Van Gogh painted, and we get to see them visualized in Van Gogh's style. So if you're interested in that, I think you're going to find a lot to like in this movie. If you're not, the story probably won't grab you as much as it did me. Now, generally, moving beyond just art enthusiasts, there is the underlying story of Van Gogh, which was sort of the quintessential misunderstood artist. He was someone who painted some wonderful works, but was never truly appreciated during his time. He sold very little works, died basically considered an insane man, and died very poor. And now his paintings can fetch 9 figures. So there's something about that is very interesting and very engaging, even if you're not directly interested in his works or art history in general. So to sum up, I don't think this is a film that relies solely on its unique presentation. The story could have been more interesting, but it was one that still managed to draw me in regardless. And I can see this being a film that, especially art enthusiasts, will make a pilgrimage to as the years go on. But for now, if you've seen Loving Vincent, what did you think about it? What did you think of the style, and did you think the story held up its side of the bargain? As always, you can subscribe to my channel, check out some of my other reviews, and until next time, I'll see you at the movies.